Hello, hello. How is everyone tonight? Well, hi, Jane. How are you? Hi, Sharon. Hi, Kelly. Hey, everyone. Hey, hey, hey. So, hey, Jules. What's up, my friend? So tonight, Heather, we are going to make, hi, Paula. We're going to make a background for this cute little cow that we colored last night. So, yeah, here I am with a blank piece of paper. Are you guys ready for this? Hey, Meg. Milligan. Howdy, howdy, howdy. All right. I love Highlands too. I love Highlands. So I colored this last night. This is our stamp set. That is the Highland cow, and it's actually called Moo. And so this is the actual stamp set. You get that. And then it says, live like someone left the gate open. You're a right bonny lass. Moo, and I haven't heard from you. And then it has a little barbed wire heart. It has a little fence. So obviously you can get the dies as well. So I have cut today a card base that's 5.5 by 5.5. And then I have cut a piece of black matting paper that's 1/8 of an inch smaller. And then I have cut a piece of sweet sentiment paper that's 1/8 of an inch smaller than that. So that I have this nice little matting around it. So we're gonna start by coloring this. I have my little cow sitting here. I'll just set these over there. I'll probably move them, but I know I love that little heart too. It's really cute. So I'm gonna get started. What do you guys want to see in a background? Is she like, you know, in a meadow with her cow? Is she hanging out? Like, I don't know. What do you guys want me to draw? Note that I am not an artist. I can color, but I cannot draw. So please note that I am not an artist by any stretch of the imagination. A meadow is always lovely. Okay, we can do a meadow with like a tree, that kind of thing. Like they're out for a little walk. I can make that happen. All right, so I'm gonna start building some interest in this. Hills and rock walls. Oh, you're talking like Ireland, like the little rock walls that are always hanging out in Ireland. That's kind of a grand idea, Julie. That's pretty freaking genius. Okay, so I'm gonna start sketching some stuff in, and I'm actually gonna do something a little bit different than what I normally do. Hi, Cheryl. Hills and rock walls, you got it. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Okay, I also can't sing. Can draw, can't sing, but hey, there you go. I've never even seen that movie, just in case y'all are wondering. Where I got that quote from is from watching Moulin Rouge. So, there you go. We're gonna do right about here. So I'm gonna do some mountains in the back. And I'm just gonna kind of sketch in some rough mountains. And this one's a little bit Actually, I want this one to go up too. There we go. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that because it's super light. I know, Milligan. Nessie. Put in a pond and put Nessie in there. So I've just kind of scribbled in some mountains. Like nothing beautiful here. I just kind of scribbled some stuff in. And I use this super light color. This is BV quadruple 0 because I want to just start building. But if it's something that I want to color over, I want to be able to color over it. I know that made a lot of sense, but you're with me, right? So then I'm going to add like some little rolling hills behind here, and then we'll put a rock wall here, and then we'll put the girl and her cow kind of in the front. I might even color the fence and add that as well, but we'll see. We'll see where we're at on time when we're done with all of this. So I'm going to grab my G40 because it's a super light color, and I'm just going to sketch in where I would like some little hills to kind of come into the scenario here. Okay, again, nothing fancy, right? Just some lines. So far, so good. You with me? Then I'm going to use C00. Oh my gosh! Have fun, Adele! And so I'm just going to color in this 00. Well, no, I guess it's fine. I'm just going to put in like what I want the top of the wall to be and what I want the bottom of the wall to be. I'm not really doing any perspective on this, by the way. I'm just putting her there. Okay, so I'm just kind of building a scene around her. It's kind of a large rock wall. I want it to be like a smaller rock wall. So I'm going to go like that. Okay. And then this, of course, is going to all be grass in the front here. And maybe I'll put a tree or something right here that they're standing in the shade. Yeah, I mean, sure, Heather, that's fine. Absolutely. Oh, you did, Milligan? You funny girl. You needed all the fluorescence after last night, huh? Is Tegan here and Mandy? Where's Tegan and Mandy? Where's my Copic family? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, again, I'm just going to start up here. So I'm going to start with my sky. I know that seems very odd, but that's... Actually, no, I'm not. That's a big fat lie. Super fat lie. I'm going to start with my mountains. So I like to use some of the grayish purple colors for my mountains to put in shadows. So I'm going to start with BV25. And I'm going to start putting some shadows in. So really, I'm going to tell you... Oh, you are here. Good. I wanted to make sure you were here. So really, what I'm going to tell you is part of the best strategy for doing mountains is to not think about it too much. Okay? So, putting in some shadow, and I'm just kind of doing some brush strokes. Okay? It's gonna look weird at first. Just go with me, okay? We're on an adventure together. You're gonna want to just go with me, okay? I promise. It's all gonna work out just fine. So, anybody have any cool plans this weekend? Anybody doing anything grand? I can draw. It's a face looking that way. Thanks for your vote of confidence. Appreciate that. I have to remember to keep my hand out of the way so Mandy doesn't yell at me. Otherwise, I might hear her all the way over here in Idaho. And she's not anywhere near Idaho. It is exceedingly hard to color on camera, though. I don't know if any of you guys have done it before, but it is exceedingly hard to color on camera because there's really two things. I know, right? I should be doing mine too, but I just woke up. There's really two reasons why it's hard. Number one, I like to color, I hold the marker really far down, and I like to color with my marker vertical so that I get the smallest amount of brush on the paper. Gives me way more control of where my ink is going. Two, I kind of like to hug my paper. So normally I'm like on top of my paper right now, and you guys wouldn't be able to see anything at all because I'm pretty much literally hugging my paper. So those are two of the reasons why it's hard for me to color on camera. There's many, many more, but those are the two I'll bore you with today. So then I'm going to come in where this mountain is in front of the other mountain and just kind of leave a little shadow. Same thing, this mountain is in front of this mountain, so I'm going to leave a little shadow there too. And then same thing over here. So over the years, I've gotten more and more used to coloring on camera, but it's never anything that's been comfortable for me. So there you go, okay? Now again, I know that looks super weird, but stay with me. Thanks, Heather. I've done it for a long time, so I'm not like new to the coloring on camera game at all whatsoever. It's just, it's very different than how I normally color. How about that? Okay, so now I'm gonna start working these down. And so I'm adding from the original shadow, and I'm kind of blending that out and elongating that shadow. And then I'll come in and kind of add some extra little shadow spots because, you know, it's a mountain, there's rocks and all the things. So okay, and I'm going to try to keep everything to the same side for the most part. When I get into the subsequent colors, the lighter ones, I will start adding to the other side where the sun is shining. But for now, this darker color is going to be my shadow. So I want it to stay on the shadowy side. Cragglies, yes, Craggly Mountains. They're all dancing. You're funny. I don't think I've ever been to a rave. I'm such a boring, so boring. You guys would just die. Like, it's a really good day when I don't have to leave my house, and I did not have to leave my house today. Although I should have left my house today. Oh wait, I did leave my house today. Never mind. But I didn't leave my car when I did leave my house. We just went to the drive-thru. My son wanted burgers. So my neighbors are having a party right now. Sorry for all the random commentary. My neighbors are having a party right now. It's their mom's 75th birthday. You're too old. Whatever. And so there's a lot of people like outside, and there's a lot of movement and stuff going on outside. So Archie is in and out. So if you hear my puppy dog and he's running back and forth and he's barking and stuff, just know that I apologize for him interrupting our video. But that is part of what you get when you get a live video. You get life. I know all the dog people probably understand. And all those with toddlers, because dogs are fairly the same as toddlers. Grandkids, maybe. Whatever. You guys get it. You understand. Okay? Michelle, I didn't know you were here. Oh, you did leave the house. You went Copic shopping. That's right. Michelle, I forgot to text you back today. I'm sorry. It's been a day. When you text me, I usually text back like within 2 seconds or 5 to 7 business days. There's no in between for me. So, my deepest apologies. Yep, perimeter checks. That's exactly what it is. He keeps running out to the gate, making sure. So now I'm going to come to this side of the mountain, and anywhere where I've drawn like an indentation, I'm going to add just a little bit of this shadow. So not a whole bunch, but just enough to kind of sell the fact that there are some valleys in these mountains where the sun isn't quite shining as bright as other places. Where the sun don't shine. Okay? Something like that. All right. Yeah, I have 6 business days left to text you, Michelle. The cow is much easier than this. This is not super hard. So far, we're just scribbling. That's all we're doing. If you look at it as anything more than scribbling, yours looks like Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne's EKG. Oh my gosh. Freaking Julie, that is hilarious. Ozzy Osbourne's EKG. I got a bill from when I went to the emergency room that says they gave me an ECG with 12 leads, and they did not do that. I know what an ECG is. They did not do that to me. No, they gave me an IV, but they did not give me an ECG. Freaking doctors trying to scam me. Hospital billing trying to scam me. Not letting that go. So I have to call them. And then this is the first bill I've gotten from them, and it says final notice. And I'm like, what? What? This is not my final notice. What is wrong with you people? Irritating. So very irritating. So some of these I'll connect together. Some of them I won't. See, it's starting to look more mountainous as we do. Oh my gosh. I know, right? I'm totally trying to fight that. Like I'm calling them tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. Monday. I'm calling him Monday, and I'm going to be like, dude, I'm not an idiot. You put 0 leads on me, and there was not an ECG that happened. So you did a blood draw, so there was some blood panels, and you gave me IV fluids. So, yeah. And then, of course, a COVID test, because can't do anything without a COVID test nowadays, right? Jerks. Ask for a discount? I know, right? Final notice. I won't get another one. Thanks. I just don't want them to report me to collections for something I didn't even get. Because you know that would be just like them. This chick didn't pay for the ECG she didn't get. Let's send her over to collections and see if we can get the money out of her anyway. Sounds about right. Hello from an all-night craft night in Astoria, Oregon. Ooh, well, that sounds fun. Tell everyone hello from Sweet Sentiment in Idaho. Should see if you could blow up the live and get everybody on the live for a second. Just for funsies. That would actually be kind of hilarious. I've never been to Astoria. I hate medical billing too. I'm actually my mother-in-law used to do medical billing. So I should have asked her when she was over here today, but I didn't think about it. She's really good at fighting these because she knows. You know, she knows all the lingo and all the stuff. So I just have her call and pretend to be me. And then she usually gets it taken care of. Because she's cool like that. I have a really cool mother-in-law. I got really lucky. Look at those pretty snow-capped mountains. It is. It's all numbers and codes. Yep. Right? I have a job for my mother-in-law. All right. So I'm going to move over to my C's. And I'm going to use C0 because I want this to stay cool. And then I'm just going to kind of saturate this so that it doesn't look so much like lines. So I'm just going to kind of scribble over this and give it some texture. I'm going to leave some white spaces in there. But notice when I don't need as much control over my marker, I hold it way back on the barrel. So the more control of your marker you need, the closer up you hold it. And when I get closer to being done with this picture, I'll come in with my white gel pen and we'll add the finishing touches on these mountains. And it'll really make the wow factor with them. White gel pens are awesome. I love them. I actually could be the curator of a white gel pen museum with as many that I've tried. But I finally found that the Pear Blossom Press white gel pens are the freaking best. So we will have them in the shop eventually. But for right now, you can go to Pear Blossom Press and buy them. Amanda is amazing. And I'm all about supporting other boss babes. So there you go. Aw, Julie. I'm glad you were close to them, though. That's nice. Teresa, something happened to your internet. Boo! Okay, so we have our mountains in. So now we're going to fill in the hills. So the trick with perspective, yeah, I don't have a father-in-law, so. The trick with perspective, wow, words are really hard today, is that the further back things are, the lighter they are. So I'm going to make these mountains light. They're gonna be light green. So I'm gonna come in, I have my hex chart, and I'm gonna pick a couple of greens to make these hills with. So I'm gonna start with G94. See if I can get that in screen for you. I'm gonna go YG63. I'm gonna go G43. Then I'm gonna go G21. If I can find it, there it is. And then I'm gonna go YG61, or do I wanna do G40? Or do I wanna go, let's keep it YG61. I might change my mind on that. I reserve the right to change my mind on that. Too many people in New Hampshire. I've never been to New Hampshire. Never, never, never. I want to. But we say that in Idaho too. There's no more vacancy. Idaho is all sold out. There's no more vacancy. Okay, so same thing. I'm just gonna try to find a couple of low spots so that I can add some valleys. So I have a low spot here. I'm gonna brush this way. I'm gonna try to kind of make this look like this hill goes behind that one. And then there's a little bit of a low spot here. So one thing to remember when you're trying to make things look like they're swooped or hilly or anything like that is you want to do your brush strokes with the direction that you want it to look like it's going. So these brush strokes are kind of coming up in this direction, and then these ones are going up in that direction. So I've made like a little valley here. I'll turn the paper so you can see it. See that? Thanks, Tegan. It's beautiful, but too many people come there. I'll just come and visit, and then I'll come back to Idaho. How about that? I won't stay forever. Then you don't have to evict me. Okay, so same thing with this. I'm going to overlap those two greens so that I can layer them up together. And then I'm going to come this direction with it. And then I'm going to tilt my paper because I like to let the paper do the work and not my wrist. Okay. I'm actually going to come down on the bottom of the hill just a little bit, because that's where the top of that fence is going to be. Not that the fence would particularly leave a shadow on the hill, but not at this perspective anyways. Okay. And I'm going to do a couple of light brush strokes this direction because this part of the hill would be away from the sun. Okay, then we're going to come up and do this one. Okay, so again, turning my paper so you can see it. I have some Irish rolling hills here. It didn't work? It usually works for me, Milligan. I don't know what kind of system you have though, so I can't really speak to that, but I have a Apple box, an Apple TV box, so it's kind of easy for me to do that. Okay, so again, I'm turning the paper so that the paper does the work for me, not my wrist. You always want to color with your wrist in a nice neutral position. Notice how I'm still following the hill up, and then when I get towards the bottom, I sort of flatten out. Same thing down here. So I'm leaving that center part there because that's where the sun would be shining. That's where it would hit on the hill. So that's the highlight. Thanks, Meg. Appreciate that. So we made some final plans for the coloring retreat today. So you might be hearing some news about that soon. We're waiting to hear back from the venue to make sure we're all systems go. So if you are interested in a coloring retreat, you might want to send me a DM. Oops, I'm probably off the camera now. Sorry. It's going to be very, very limited. There's only 12 spaces available. It's going to be in Texas. And I believe it's going to be in November. I side screen on my phone on the right-hand side and select mirror TV. Select my TV when it comes up. Top right corner. Yeah, on the video on YouTube, not on YouTube, oh my God. On Facebook, I just tap the video as I'm like trying to tap my phone. I just tap the video and then the little icon comes up that's like a little square box with whatever in it. Like little internet symbols in it. And I click that and it asks me where I want to project to, and I tell it which Apple box I want it to go to, and it goes there. So, sorry, that's all the help I can be. And Sandy, when did you pop in here? Are you being a creepster over there in the corner? Not letting anyone know you're here, seeing if we're talking about you or what? Notice I'm still leaving that spot for that highlight. Bring this down. The same thing on this hill. All right. And now our last color is the YG61. Sneaky Sanda. I don't know where that came from. You're going to get your Ninja Sandy name back. Now, I do a little bit of back and forth here just because I'm being too lazy to turn the paper. But theoretically, you should color this way. And then, Oh my goodness, that scared the holy living bejesus out of me. Did it scare you guys too? Theoretically, you should color this way and then flip and color this way. But I was being lazy, so I did some back and forth coloring. Ninja Sandy. Okay. There we go. There's our Bonnie Green Meadow. All right. So now we're going to build the stone wall. And since my mountains are already cool tones, I'm going to build the stone wall with warm tones. So I'm going to use my W's. And I'm going to start with 7. 6, 5, and then I'm gonna go 3 and 2. I'm cutting out 4 because I want to have a contrast between what this is my true color of my stones is the W5, and these are my shadows and these are my highlights. So your dogs are looking for Archie. They're like, where'd he go? He alerted us. Alert, alert, everybody run. Archie, you scared dogs clear across the country. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna be a chicken. I was just gonna go for it, but I'm gonna be a chicken. So I'm gonna start with my lightest color. This is my W2. Haha, my W2. And I'm gonna come down here to the bottom where I drew that line, and I'm just gonna start drawing stones. And some of them will overlap, some of them will not. Oops. Some of them will be small, some of them will be large. We're just gonna build a rock wall. We're gonna be stonemasons here. Okay, so seriously, nothing super difficult. I know, right? Rock wall, I know where that's at. Oh, hooray, Teresa. That's awesome. Now you can really see what I'm coloring, huh? You can see all of my flaws. Everything I mess up. No, it is actually really cool to watch on the TV because you really do get a different perspective. Okay, so there's the bottom of our rock wall. So now we're gonna come in and do a second row. Jules, is this the kind of rock wall you were talking about? I hope it was, because it's a little bit late for me to be changing this stuff now. Linda Lou, hi. Natalie, I am, yay. I feel so special. I made it to the big time. I'm on big TVs. Or y'all have like super understanding husbands or live alone or have control of the remote. I don't know what it is, but good job. Good job, you. Prime crime? I don't know what prime crime is. Sandy, do I know what you're talking to your mom about? Or is it something else? Do I know? Do I know? Do I know? Uh-huh. I feel like my rocks are becoming shaped the same way. I'm creating a pattern. Okay, so now that I have my wall sketched out, I can go in and start shading. And I don't have to be such chicken. So I'm gonna grab my W7. And I'm essentially just gonna trace the bottoms of everything that I just did. So I know it seems kind of redundant, but that's what happens when you're a chicken. And you don't just do it with this color to begin with. So if you're wondering why I'm kind of going up the side is because when I colored the girl with the cow, I colored it like the sun was coming from here. So if the sun's coming from this direction, the shade's going to be on that side, theoretically speaking. And I just kind of do an approximation of shade. I'm not one of those people that's like super stickler about light source. You're coloring flowers, or are you in the car? Are you coloring flowers in the car? This is closer than the, sorry, I just got a phone call and so I was trying to end it. The rock wall is closer than the hills. Does that help you? So I'm not going to color the top of the rock wall because that's not going to be in shadow. Hey, Sandy. That call that was just coming through was from Carol, and she says affirmative on those dates. So November it is, babe. Almost there, friends, almost there. Okay. So now, hey Jamie, hey Sandy. So now I'm gonna take this W6 and I'm gonna kind of cheat. And I'm just gonna color. I'm cheating at, like, I'm not coloring perfectly all the way through because I don't want the rock wall to be the item of focus. I want the girl on the cow to be the item of focus. So I'm not going to color these, like, spend a whole bunch of time and color them absolutely perfectly because they're not the star of the show. So with that being said, I'm going to color the bottoms and the right side of pretty much everything. And then in some of these rocks that are a little bit bigger, I might add, you know, like a little squiggly line, like they've broken or cracked or whatever. But I'm not, again, I'm going to not worry about being perfect on this, which I know for a lot of you is really surprising with me because I am such a perfectionist. But the thing is when you're doing a background, you want it to be that. You want it to be a background. You don't want it to take the show from your star. Your star is going to be whatever image you've colored. So I'm just gonna, you know, kind of scribble this in. If I hit all the points, that's great. If I don't, that's fine too. But notice how much faster I'm doing this because I don't want to give my brain enough time to be perfect. And if I sit here and think about this and start coloring like each individual stone the way that it should be colored, then I'm going to be here for hours coloring all these rocks. And I don't want that. So, well, iPad is better, right? At least it's a little bit bigger. Got a question about Copic pens. I just went to use 2 of my pens and the nibs are dry. I see a small crack in the lid. Is there anything I can do to fix this? Get a new pen. Sorry, but that is literally the only thing you can do is get a new pen. Once you have a crack in your cap, that's game over for that pen. Ugh, I'm sorry, that's terrible. Okay, so same thing with this. We're just gonna come around. Notice the coloring is a lot of repetition, especially something like this. But now you're gonna start seeing these come to life because this is the quote unquote true color. Everybody sing it. I see your true colors shining through. Yeah, that's right. I color, I don't sing. I won't quit my day job. So since this is the true color, I'm going to be a little more generous with it. I'm going to use a little bit more of it, make it come across. Some of these rocks that are smaller are going to get fully colored in. But I'm kind of making this so it looks like the sun shining on these rocks is all going to hit them in sort of the same direction. So I missed this rock entirely with the last color, but that's completely fine. All right. So Natalie, there is a place called Violetta Ink, and if you go to our website, which is www.sweetsentiment.us, and you click on the little menu and click on our favorite things, we have an affiliate link for Violetta Ink. And so she, with no extra cost to you, she gives us a little kickback for everybody purchasing their Copics from her. And she also has the best prices out there. So just FYI. I know, Sandy and I are always finding cracked caps, especially on the sketch markers, because it is an oval shape to your marker, and you always want to twist them off. Just by human nature, you want to twist them off. And you really should not do that, because you are essentially cracking your caps. You're making them weak and you're cracking them just by doing that. So again, I'm kind of scribbling all of this in, leaving a little bit of room for a highlight. When I get to it, Archie, no, hey, stop. It's just kids. I know you want to go play with the kids. I get it, but no. Yeah, that's my puppy. He's very protective of his domicile. I should have gone over there and been like, it's a birthday and I know there's cake here and I need cake. Did you start taking both ends off this morning? Could totally tell the difference. Right, Michelle? Good job, Mulligan. Ooh, good to know. I will for sure check that out. Yay, thanks, Natalie. Yeah, she has the best prices. She has the best shipping. She's super sweet. She rescues doggies. Spends a lot of time and effort rescuing unrescuable doggies, giving them medical attention, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's my W3. Then, oh my gosh, it's already taken me an hour. Then I'm going to take my W2. Now, I am purposely going to leave the cap on this end because I want to force all the ink out of this nib. And so I'm going to come here and I'm just going to start scribbling in the light parts of these rocks. And I'm using the side of my nib because I don't need a whole bunch of accuracy. I'm telling you guys, all this stuff is just scribbling, literally scribbling. I have not actually drawn anything. That's what makes backgrounds so grand. Look at that. Now we have a rock wall. Isn't that cool? Yes, if you twist the cap, it will crack. So when you go to take your cap off, your caps, that's why we have these that have two spots, so you know which is your top cap and which is your bottom cap. Theoretically, they fit on either side of the marker, but we know some of them are a little bit more temperamental than that. So when you take your cap off, most people want to twist their marker and their cap like that and twist it off, and that's super bad for your marker. So what you want to do is just pull. Okay, so now we're going to do the grass. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take, remember this pen from earlier that I used to sketch stuff in? This is my G40. I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to color this all in with my chisel nib. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be even. Just try not to pick up a bunch of black from the rock wall. But you just want this all colored in because we're gonna do like blades of grass because it's closer up. And so you don't want those showing, you don't want like the in-between showing through and have it be white. Okay, so we have that. So now I'm gonna choose some darker color greens. So let me pull out my hex chart again so I can show you guys. I'm going to start with G99. I don't know why, but I just always start with G99 on my grass. It's just one of those go-to colors for me. Then I like to go to something that's more like a traditional green grass color. I like G28. Then I start to move around this, and since grass is a lot of different colors, I like to just start adding different colors. YG17 is one of my favorites. I also like to use YG25. And I'll probably use something kind of in between. Man, I don't really know. Let me do, actually, I kind of want to do like a yellowish. I'm going to do YG13. And why did I pull Y02? I don't know, because I missed my YG17. Usually the way they come is the way I keep them. Or you can tell sometimes they just don't fit tight. So you should hear this. If you don't hear that, then that's not the right end. I have a couple of them that are super duper loose and they're really not great for either end. But if that's the case, I put them on the chisel end. Okay, so this is easier for me to do. Why can I not get that in there tonight? So this is easier for me to do inverted. So I turn this upside down. And I just come along the bottom of this and I just start with brush strokes. Hopefully you guys can see that. I have to hold my marker pretty vertical, otherwise I'm going to get a lot of really thick blades of grass. So you may not have the bestest angle, but I could go like this and show you. Archie, stop. Okay, so I just kind of cross back and forth like that. So I'm just going to keep doing that along the edge of this. And again, the faster you color this, the faster you keep going with these brush strokes, the more natural this is going to look. The reason is if you start going slow, you will have measured brush strokes. And those measured brush strokes will all like end up in the same spot, and it'll look very purposeful that you put all of those brush strokes like purposely there. And that's not how grass grows, is it? So you just want to make sure that you are just kind of coloring with reckless abandon. Like just kind of go for it. And this is why I always color with like a glass mat or something under my paper, because I generally color off the edge of the paper when I'm doing backgrounds like this. Okay, so when you turn it right side up, it looks like grass. Hey, Marisol! Marisol! Are you home yet, or are you still traveling home? Okay, so I'm probably going to go through the grass colors a couple of times. Sometimes I only have to do it once. Sometimes I have to do it multiple times. Gonna grab a sip of water here. So same thing with this. I'm just gonna keep going. The only thing that I will say is I try to fill in like the white spots. You don't have to, but that's the only thing that I really try. There goes Archie. He hears my husband going to bed. So he's like, ooh, it's time for a treat. I like treats. Dog is so dang spoiled. You're home, yay! You're home with your Copic haul? She was in Japan, so she bought Copics from the source. I wish I would have known. I would have had you pick up markers for me, but it sounds like you had plenty coming home. So I do like to go over this twice. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to. To me, it just helps me fill in the blanks so I don't have to go so slow the first time around. So it just kind of fills in the blanks. And there you go. There's our second layer. Totally jet lagged. Oh, Mari, that's great. I'm only laughing because I totally identify with that, and I've done that before. Oh, you had to get the whole entire thing for Kay? That's what I would ask for. I would have been like, I just need you to get all of them. One of every one, please. Well, I'm glad you got to get them for Kay. That's awesome. She's going to be so happy. If you go back, let me know. This is a fun technique. I really like this technique. I find it soothing. And it's also quite striking to me. I feel like it really makes an impact. It adds lots of texture. There we go. My video on my screen just ended, so I'm hoping that my video with you did not end. Thanks, Milligan. Okay, so now I have my YG25. I'm just creating like a gradient all the way up. If I notice any like holes in the grass, I'll kind of go in and fill them in at this point. You guys got all quiet. Wow, that is so amazing. I'm sad she lost all of her markers, but I'm really glad that you were able to get them for her. There's my Archie again. People are starting to go home from the party, so of course, you know, he's got to be out patrolling, making sure everybody's putting their seatbelts on and stuff. Okay. All right, so now we have our last layer of grass. So this one, I'm not concerned. Notice that I'm gonna come up over the front of the rock wall. That's just gonna put it in perspective. So I'm not concerned at all with the fact that I'm gonna go over the top of the rock wall. Now, I'm not gonna go crazy, but I do want all of this filled in. And this is such a light color, it's really hard to notice anyways on top of that dark color. And I bring this color kind of down into the previous color. Words are hard, sorry. Just so that there's not like a perfect line across where that gradient changes. Everybody with me? Did I lose any of y'all? I forgot I was gonna do a tree and now I colored a rock wall and stuff there, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to do a tree. My apologies. Okay, now, like I said before, since I've used so much ink on this, I've kind of washed these bottom colors out a little bit. So I'm gonna go back to my G28. I'm using Sweet Sentiment paper, of course, and it takes a lot of ink, and it has a slight sparkle to it that you can actually even see through the ink, which is super duper cool. I can go all paper geek on you and give you like all of the particulars on it, but I won't bore you. So just know it's made very different in that it is not coated on the outside like your Express It or Nina or anything like that. It's coated in the middle layers. And so what that means is you're not going to get all these weird sticky messes. So notice how I've put all of this color on here and there's no sticky mess on it anywhere. Because the ink, your alcohol markers, the alcohol actually dissipates, right? It's meant to... neither. It's actually 89 pound, which is even better, Teresa. So your alcohol is meant to evaporate, but when it evaporates, the pigment is left just hanging out there, doing nothing, right? So it sits on top of your paper and it gets sticky and tacky and sometimes blotchy. You can get little white blotches in it and stuff, and that actually ends up clogging your nibs. And you usually have to color a couple of times, do a few coats to get a super vibrant color like this. And so since the Sweet Sentiment paper is coated on the inside, the paper fibers are actually being stained. And so the pigment has something to hold on to. It's holding on to the actual paper fibers. So it's a very different way of coloring, but notice I usually only have to use one coat. I'm only going back in here for texture, not for color. There we go. Look at that, you guys. Yeah, so it definitely makes for a fantastic coloring paper. Also for ink blending, oh my God, for ink blending, it's mwah. Okay, so now we see our little bovine's gonna stand here. So now we need to color the sky. Hey, Meg. Thanks, Teresa. Thanks, Meg. So I'm gonna grab some colors for the sky real quick. I'm gonna grab, I know it's gonna be a little bit odd, but I'm gonna grab B24, which is called Sky. I know. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm wicked cheesy like that. Let's see. B24, I want to tone it down a little bit. I am going to grab B23. I mean, I guess I could keep it in the color family and do B21, but then I'm going to go a little bit off and I'm going to grab BG10. And I'm gonna grab, I think BG 000, because I like a little bit of teal to my sky. Why not? And then I'm gonna grab my colorless blender. So there you go. How often do you refill, or should I say, how often does Sandy refill your shit? Not often enough. That's what Sandy does it for. So realistically, you should, the amount that Sandy and I color, we should probably be refilling like 6 or 7 or 8 times a year. It depends on how much you color. We obviously color a lot, so you should refill when your markers are ready for it. I really don't know how to answer that question. But personally, I go through my entire set and refill them once a year. And Sandy goes through my entire set and refills it once a year. And then I just refill as needed. Here and there. And then if Sandy's here more than that, then she'll refill them all again. But she likes to go through every single one and refill them. And I just sort of refill as needed. Okay, so with this sky blue, I'm going to kind of do a little bit of what I like to call a vignette coloring. Meaning, I'm going to like come in from the outsides. I go through my entire set and refill them once a year. Sandy refills them also once a year for me. And then I refill as needed. So like my skin tones, I refill like every couple weeks. Because I'm always coloring skin tones. But some of these markers that I don't use constantly, I don't need to refill them all the time. Like my fluorescents, I don't use them constantly. So the ones that I fill them and the ones that Sandy fills them is enough. Does that make sense? Okay, so with both caps on, your sketch marker should weigh 14. It should weigh 14. With both caps on, or with both caps off, they should weigh 9. I don't refill them until they're like 8 with the caps off. Sandy would refill it at like 8.6. I know. So I will tell you this, Sandy has had her markers for like 15 years and 90% of them are still going strong. I have had my markers for like 7 or 8 years, maybe maximum, probably closer to 7 or 6 or 7 years. And I've replaced a bunch of mine. So, you know, you decide. You decide what you want to do. Was that a good answer? Yeah, Sandy gets mad at me for not filling my markers often enough. It's fine. That's what besties do. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. I'm fine. Everybody's fine. This is why I get super mad if I like do a background and people like get the card in the mail and read it and then throw it away because I've spent an hour coloring or hour and a half coloring the image and an hour and a half to 3 hours coloring the background and then another hour or so making the card. Like there's a significant time investment in this. And so if you just throw my card away, I know, Sandy, you love me. Otherwise, you would not tolerate that behavior. You would disown me. So I know you love me. So that's a significant time investment. So if you get a card for me and you just throw it away, I don't know if I can be your friend anymore. I hope you guys feel that way too. Like if I got a card from you, like I have a box of cards so my cards, when I get a card in the mail, I usually put it on display for like at least a few months. It's usually on display for at least a few months. Sometimes it's like a year or longer. It just depends. And then I put it in a special like keepsake box and I go through them from time to time. That's why I don't give my cards away. Yes, Sandy does shake her head a lot while she refills my markers. She also says things under her breath while she refills my markers. Like she'll set a marker on the scale and she'll go, "Oh my God." This color is not dark enough. I thought that was going to happen. So, hold please while I exchange my BG10 for my BG11. Oh my God, she totally says stuff under her breath. She knows I hear it. It's not like she's trying to hide it. She thinks that it'll make a difference. She thinks that I'll be like, one day that she's going to come here and my markers are going to be clean and full. And I mean, she has about as much chance of that as she has of winning that Mega Millions. So, just saying. Love you, bestie. Yes, Linda, I know. There's a couple of you that have like Sweet Sentiment card displays, which I think is really cute. Jen Hill Hughes has like every card that Sweet Sentiment has ever sent her. And she has like this full display of all the cards. I think Julie does too. Julie, my Jules, she has lots of Sweet Sentiment cards too. Some she's bought, some she's got in the mail. We do card sales. I know, right, Milligan? She also takes me to the coffee shop when she hates the smell of coffee. So, I mean, that's what besties do. I don't like this color either. Oh my God, I'm being so indecisive tonight. I think I'm going to go back to my BG10. There we go. How fun is that? So I'm going to take my B21 again. And just kind of where I wash this out some, I'm going to kind of bring some of it back in here. I like to kind of have streaks in the sky. I don't know why. It's just a personal preference. So I come back in from the corners. And put some streaks in there. There we go. There's our sky. So now, thanks, Linda. Oh, Milligan. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab a white gel pen. Again, this is from Pear Blossom Press. So a couple of things about the gel pens. My guess is you probably are really irritated with gel pens because you probably have a whole bunch of them and you're probably using them wrong. So if you write with your gel pen and it doesn't do anything like that, number one, you're pushing too hard. This is gel. So if you're writing like you would write with a normal pen, it's not going to work. You have to almost hover above the paper. The other thing is this has a little ball. Hey, Archie. Archie, stop. They're not here for you. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. The girls went to Dutch Brothers, Sandy. The neighbor girls went to Dutch Brothers. Archie, come here. Hey, Archie, come here. Hold on just a second. He thinks they're at the front door. Stop it. Come here. Come here. Come here. Now you lay down. Stop barking, please. Okay. Sorry about that. So, it has a little ball right here. So if you drop this on here, it'll allow the gel to come down and lubricate around that. Or you can use your finger and just very lightly use the oil on your fingers to lubricate that to get it going. So then what I'm going to do is, again, almost hovering above the paper, is I'm going to start using this gel pen to color in those mountains. And so this is going to add that look of snow. And I'm just kind of doing little scribbles. I'm not necessarily, really going for it, but I'm doing just the very highlights. Archie, honey, you're wearing me out, babe. Okay, so can you see? Oh, you're so trying that tomorrow. What? I know, they went to Dutch without you. This is very rude. Very, very rude. And not one of them had anything that looked like coffee. It was all Sandy drinks. So you'll be able to tell if you're using your gel pen wrong because there'll be like a line and then like a channel and then another line. And that means you're pushing too hard. So like, see how there's like a line on this side and a line on this side and like a channel in the middle of it? That means you're pushing too hard with your gel pen. And you don't want to do that. There's some seriously ancient guy walking by the house right now, and Archie's not even barking or growling at him because he could care less about the old dude. What he really wants is the kids with the Dutch brothers. He loves kids. Hey, stop. This just adds a little bit of extra dimension. I think it's super cool. Check it out. I love it. Yep, I'm telling you, Teresa, it's for sure. It's exactly what it is. So don't throw away your gel pens because you probably are not. It's probably not the pen. It's probably you using it wrong because you're using it like you want to write with it. And that's not how they're intended to be used. It's not ink, it's gel. That's why I said I could be the curator of a gel pen museum, because I have so many of them. But I will tell you, the ones that work the best, like right from the get-go and for the longest, are definitely these Pear Blossom Press pens. And this particular one I have in my hand, I've been using for probably 2 years now. Right? I hate it. It makes me, like, I have to wash it off because I don't like icky crafting. Okay. So, now, what I want to do is I want to camouflage this just a little bit more. Sorry, I just have to do it. So I'm going to move this again. I'm going to grab that YG17 and I'm just going to add some little tufts of grass here next to the stones. Just a couple here and there because I'm anal retentive. And it makes me feel better. Okay, I know you can't see that super well, but I can. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to grab my glue. I use Barely Art glue. It is the best glue on the market. We have it in stock right now. For those of you who live in cold climates, they actually froze it, put it through a freeze and thaw cycle 5 times, and then used it. And it worked just like brand new, straight from manufactured. So it's great for you. Those of you who live in humid climates, it does not clump like the art glitter glue or clog. So it works really well in humidity. So it gives you a second to like move it around so you can get everything nice and even. And then I use my espresso, of course, and I burnish that glue so that I have nice smooth adhesion. I'm gonna make sure my card opens the right way because I'm not trying to get in the whole Japanese card phase again. So I'm gonna set that right there. I'm gonna glue my card front. Hey, if you keep it up, I'm gonna send you to bed with no treats. He doesn't seem to care, does he? It's almost comical. I'm sorry if it's bugging any of you guys, like it's bugging me. Okay, so again, I have a little bit of time to move it around and make sure everything's nice and square where I want it to be. And then I grab my espresso again. Now, before I put any embellishments or anything on my card, I always stamp the back of my card. And sign it. I usually choose a color that matches the card, so I'm going to choose a green Stabilo pen, whatever you call it. Okay, so then I'm going to turn this over. I have my sweet girl on her glittery purple cow. And I'm going to put them over here in this corner. Archie, dude, give it up. Nobody's here to hurt you. Like, just chill. The ring on my right hand, of course. So this was my parents' original wedding set. My dad had it made. So this was her engagement ring, and then this ring guard he had made for their wedding. And so it's part of my inheritance, so they gave it to me now. And then this was the solitaire he bought for my mom. And then all of these diamonds are from his family's Freemason rings, so they're all ancient diamonds. That's funny, Julie. So it is a family heirloom ring. And I love that I have it. My dad loves that that I have it now and that I wear it. He bought my mom so it's a solitaire that's almost 2 carats and then 2 single carat solitaires and fanned them out and had them put together. So she wears that now because, you know, big, honkin' awesome. Thanks, Meg. Thanks, Cheryl. I always tell her that her left arm is longer than her right arm because of carrying around those heavy diamonds. She swears it's not, but I swear it is. I like to use Too Many Sweet Pops too, just in case you're wondering why I put 10,000 Sweet Pops on here. I love using Too Many Sweet Pops. Your mom used her wedding ring to buy a house in Mexico? That makes me laugh, Michelle. It even made me choke a little bit. Is it a nice house? Are you done for the night? Huh? I think he's going in and going to bed. I think he gave up finally. He's like, none of these jerks are giving me treats, so I don't care. I'm just going to leave it. So I love the Sweet Pops because you can cut them down to any shape and size that you want. That to me is amazing. They make me super duper happy. Oh, he did not go to bed. He went outside to bark. Because that's what Archies do. Oh, they open the garage door now. That's why. So people are all out in the driveway. Should I center her? What do you think? Should I center her or put her off to the corner? Kind of want to center her. 7 bedrooms, 3 baths. Holy bejeezers. I know, right? Laugh and cough. I have 3 older sisters. They're from my mom's first marriage. And so my dad adopted them right away when they got married. And I didn't know that they were not my full sisters, that they were only half sisters until much, much later. Like I was like 12 or 13. Everybody says corner and I stuck it in the middle. Shows you how much I listen, huh? Okay. So there's that. So now I'm going to grab some bling. And by bling, I mean matte. Matte bling. So I'm going to pull out these green ones. Archie, honey, come on now. And I'm going to pull out, this is like my favorite set. It's called Sticks and Stones. But Linda, when she was helping Cameron put them on display, these were covering the nameplate on them. And, yes, so it should be my ring. I am my dad's only biological child. She called them socks and shoes. So I call these socks and shoes. They're really, if you're looking for them in the shop, they're really called Sticks and Stones. But I call them socks and shoes. And then I have these green ones. So I'm going to put a green one here and a gray one. And then a dark colored one. And I'm kind of a dum-dum head because I forgot to put glue down. I'm going to do it anyways, so hold please. I'm going to lift this up. Trying to use the glue with your left hand when you are insanely right-handed is very difficult. Just saying. Okay. Now, generally what I do is I go like this. I'm going to put a couple here. I'm going to put a small green. Oops, I dropped it. And a larger gray and a bigger light gray. So I always do, I was wondering where the glue was. There is, Amanda, there absolutely is. And thank you for asking that. So let me put these ones on and then I will tell you the method to my madness. All right. So in nature, the things are always found in odd numbers. Not always, but most of the time, things are always found in odd numbers. So there is this really cool mathematical pattern called the Fibonacci Sequence. And what it is imagine a nautilus shell. So whatever your focal point is you want it to be in the center. So in this case, the focal point is right around where this girl is. It's a little bit off, but it doesn't have to be exact center, but wherever you want your center to be. And so what you want is you want to come out in a spiral so that you can see where you want your embellishments to be. So if I start here, her ear is about where the center is, or her right where her ear and elbow are, that's where the center is. So if I come around here in a tight spiral, I'm looking at her face, right? So the next spiral that comes out is the cow's horns, then where the bling is, and the rest of the cow, and then this bling down here. So you're sequencing, you're spreading that vision out. We are all a little mad here, and that just showed you the extent of my madness. So I always use the Fibonacci sequence on my cards. You will notice now that I've said it, it will become readily obvious to you how often it is used on my cards. And that's why I place the bling where I place the bling. A lot of people will just randomly place it. I also make sure that I have odd numbers, so 3 sets of 3. So 3 sets is an odd number, 3 is an odd number, and 3 sets of 3 makes 9, which is also an odd number. So yeah, and my visual center is 1. That is also an odd number. So there you go. There's the madness that happens inside my brain when I make cards. I hope you guys enjoyed that look into my brain. It's scary in there, isn't it? So thank you guys for joining me. I super duper appreciate it. I had a lot of fun coloring tonight and chatting with you all. Thank you for hanging out. It was kind of a marathon, but I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you tomorrow night with something totally different. We're going to be in the same place at the same time. It'll be 7:30 again, 7:30 Mountain Time. And we will be coloring, I'm not sure. I think I might color Stick Your Neck Out. I know, right? Anyone else have another crazy question for Jamie to answer? So I will see you guys all tomorrow with probably Stick Your Neck Out, but I'm not sure. That's subject to change. So anyways, thank you for joining me and have a wonderful evening. Toodles!